welcome back, Lucia. We are kicking off spring 2026 with some Splatoon 3 action. We got Lakeside, we got Ferndale here, of course, in week 1. My name is Spicy, joined on the mic here with Neptune. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Today is a wonderful time for some Splatoon action, and it's going to be high school edition here. So we're going to be having Lakeside High School here versus Ferndale High School. So Lakeside Eagles, Varsity Splatoon versus FHS Splat, 3v3, counter picks galore. It's going to be great, Spicy.
Oh yeah, it's a fun format here over Lucia in 3-on-3, like you mentioned. We are implementing counter picks as well, so we will have up to 5 games, all different modes as well. So we should have like a really good time just to get some great action here. Real excited to eventually get started with the more Splatoon 3. It's been a while since we've had it here on Lucia.
Yeah, for sure. So I believe last time we did this, it was last spring as well. So now we are in a new season, new players, new teams. A lot of talent cycles out in and out, right? So you're gonna have new players, obviously getting invested in trying out stuff, training as well. Because remember, it's a whole season worth of Splatoon you have to play, not just 1 week or 2 weeks. It's not just a one and done day event. This is a marathon here, Spicy.
Go first here. And before we get into that marathon, we do want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, they're able to bring this broadcast to all of you, helping to showcase the amazing talent that you're going to see in Scholastic Esports. You can always show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media. Make sure to join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtags powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA whenever you post. With that, we're going to be getting started very shortly here with the return of Splatoon 3 here at Lucia.
Yeah, for sure. There was a coin toss to decide the map. If you're those of you unfamiliar with the rules here, so we have a predetermined modes here. So we're starting off on Turf War, and we're going to be moving on to other ones. I believe it's going to be Turf War, then Rainmaker, then we go Zones, Hour Control, and then Clam Blitz here. But for the first app that gets chosen, it's based off a coin flip, and I believe that coin flip was won by FHS, and it's going to be put on Robo Ramen. So interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, like we see Robo Ramen pretty often in like the Splatoon scene, at least when it comes to like Splat Zones. And obviously, Turf War has its niche in some areas here, but to see like Robo Ramen Turf War, it's kind of like, in a way, a perfect way to just kick off a season like this. We are starting out with essentially the beginning of Splatoon here with Turf War. Real interested to see what we have here. We have, since we last were live with Splatoon 3, a lot more weapons are in play now. A lot of more different ideas, a lot more strategies. I know Lakeside's a returning school, but hey, we have no idea what's different from them from 2024 all the way now into 2026. Real excited to get into this then.
Yeah, for sure. Like, according to my facts over here, I see Lakeside has competed last year in fall. They went have a record of, I believe, 1-7 last time. But hey, new year, new roster, new talent, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see potentially how this new roster rolls up here as well. Ferndale doing very similar as well. But you know what? We can talk about the results here. Let's speak about the actual game here, Spicy.
Unfortunate. I think we just saw an immediate disconnect here. I think if it's a 3-on-2 here, which unfortunate. I don't know. Forget the rule sets exactly. If we are going to just reset this room just to get that third player in, because they were in up until like the countdown. Yeah, so we are going to get a reset here, but we get a chance to immediately look at these comps and what we're seeing. Ferndale rocking 2 Aerosprays, and we are seeing Lakeside with a bit more of a diverse comp here with the dually, the roller, as well as the X-Flow.
Yeah, for sure. So it seems like, yeah, even though there's a DC, we do get a preview into their comps here as well. But yeah, looking at some of the matches right here, Aerospray, very good at turfing, not very good at fighting here. Meanwhile, with the diversity here, I believe on Ferndale as well, it's going to be quite a bit more interesting, especially with that splat roller. If that thing gets in and sets up its bubble, it's going to be pretty deadly here.
Definitely, yeah. And like, it's really cool to see like the beginnings of like what could be a comp here. Like traditional Splatoon is 4-on-4, and now when you limit it to 3-on-3, you do have to think a lot more about the different roles. What weaknesses are we all covering here? You see the little squid party happening in the middle there too. I love the solidarity, at least as we get things situated. But it's
You know
cool
what?
merely seeing like what we got going here, a lot of different ideas. And I'm wondering now from the side of Ferndale, they already have the two arrow sprays. Are we locking in a third one, or is there going to be like another weapon that like, kind of balance out the comp?
Yeah, for sure. So I assume that last weapon is probably going to be something that's fighting a lot more because you have very turf heavy weapons. So I assume that it's mostly a setup comp in the sense of, hey, set up your other teammates here for success here
Mhm.
and be able to just paint the map, especially in turf war. You know, you need that at a painting ability to be able to play the objective here. And if the aerosprays begin to rat, especially with how Robo Ramen is technically structured, right? There's like a little underneath portion to the map that allows
Oh
players to
yeah.
be able to hide under and sneak around the map to be able to paint more turf to put on the scoreboard. So yeah, I could definitely support the aerospray pick and understand why Ferndale is going to be opting for it.
For sure, yeah. And like you see aerospray a lot, especially in like Turf 4, especially at this level here in WSSEA, where it just gets the job done of what it wants to do. Like your job is to paint. You get so much painting
Mm-hmm.
output there. You have some other utility things there too. Reef sliders, the last were alive, is a lot better now as special, as well as just being able
Mm-hmm.
to have a lot more coverage. It gets some more value, especially in a 3-on-3 setting too, where if
Mm-hmm.
you land like a pick or even two, that's just even better now with just the numbers game as well. Still got Busy Bomb to operate with some extra range, which kind of makes up for a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
aerospace weaknesses there. But there's you can make things work here, and we've seen it before where players who just have like good mechanics overall tend to do really well here in Wistia. So curious to see. We got some ideas of like some of the shooting, some of the painting around, maybe a little bit of the movement in the Squid Party, but like have a lot really to still be looking forward to when we eventually get into this game one.
Yeah, for sure. I saw how they were squid partying in solidarity there. That's always
Right.
so fun because you know, just like at the end of the day, they're all students. They're all there for the same thing to have some fun and some Splatoon action there as well. Unfortunate lobby DC there. You know, just got to make the best of that moment right there as well. So, yeah, Aerospray is definitely going to be a threat with its whole kit, as you mentioned before there, especially with the Fizzy Bump and the Reef Slider picks leading into one another is going to be absolutely, how do I say, crucial, especially if you're looking to swing the match in its favor, especially those last 30 seconds in Turf War, definitely is the deciding factor there, and you're going to need to watch out for what happens there. As games can easily swing, especially with the weapons I saw there earlier.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the weapons we were seeing, and like you could see a lot more like swing, kind of like literally there, just from having a roller over
Mm-hmm.
on Lakeside, and to have like a weapon like that, which has the ability to one shot, especially against weapons like Aerospray, which struggle and the struggle and the fighting range. Very different dynamic here, and like yes, you don't get as much paint on
Mm-hmm.
paper as the Aerospray comp, but you do get a lot more in terms of combat. And I really wish I remember what Lakeside was rocking way back in 2024 to see like what's different now between the weapons from then to now, just to see like what how they have evolved. But you see like the semblances of like a traditional comp there. You have some range, you have some
Uh-huh.
combat, you have some painting as well. So different ideas. Really cool to see that is just even in like what we saw, not even like any seconds of actual gameplay. A lot to really think about here as we go into the game one more time.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, no more lobby DCs. We can get started here with our best of five set right now. This is going to be marking the first game of, I believe, the season as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's going to be quite interesting here as well. I believe our spectator is joining one of the teams right now accidentally. Unfortunate thing that happened right there as well. But hey, you know what, Spicy? I want to talk more about the Explo, actually, I believe, on Lakeside's comp as well, because I think Explo is one of those weapons that is massively underrated, especially if it gets perched up right there. It's able to hit over walls. It has that splashdown to protect itself. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
weapon that, on paper, it just exudes intimidation factor, I guess.
It really does. And I'm thinking about it and how it matches up against like the aerosprays as well, and like having splashdown, especially because you know that the aerospray has to get close to the X-Blow. just to have like any type of chance to combat it out, unless you go for like Reef Slider or unless you pick at it with Fizzy Bombs. So you are kind of playing into the splashdown range, and I'm real curious to see, are we going to be seeing like the splashdown cancels? We're going to be seeing things like that, or is this like Explo just going to be able to like skill check pretty much everything there from the enemy team? And it's really cool because he had like probably the most unique weapon out of like all the ones we were seeing. Because I believe
Hmm.
Ferndale's last weapon, I think, was a hero shot, so it was going to have like an option there. So three shooters. Meanwhile, the Explo traditional thing of a slosher, more of a bucket
Hmm.
combination, also things like blaster as well. So very different, and especially on things like Rubber Ramen has that verticality as well, especially going over onto the lower side. A lot of different things to really be thinking about, which is really cool to see before we even get to the game.
Yeah, for sure. Just like this is the beauty of Splatoon. There's just so many different weapons, so many different play styles,
Hmm.
and that you can mix and match them as well, right? You have how do I say it? Three different players, three different weapons potentially to be able to be selected at the same time here. And I really want to highlight the how do I say? You mentioned like we don't remember much from Lakeside as well. I got a flash from the past when I saw the end parries because I remember seeing end parries quite a
Oh
bit. And
yeah.
yeah, Doolies is such a how do I say a spec cam favored favorite. It's a commentator's favorite because now it has the two dodge rolls, right? So now it can just go left, it can go right, it can go forward, it can go backward. It has all these different movement options to be able to get out of certain situations as well as spray down anyone who tries to approach it as well with its turret fire mode, as well as having the splashdown equipped to it. And if anyone says anything, the superhero special where you land down with three gigantic fists and with one big fist in the middle always creates such fun and exciting moments, at least in my opinion here, Spicy.
No, I would agree with that, Neptune, where like you already have dualies, which as you mentioned are a spec cam favorite. They're a crowd favorite as well for the
Hmm.
most part, where they're just such a flashy weapon. Where you have those dodge rolls, the extra movement in a game which already is known for its fluid movement, just the creativity you can have there. You're
Hmm.
able to combine all of that, combine the dodge rolls with squid rolls and different things like that too, and you just make it. A good dually player is just so hard to lock down because of that, and they're getting so many great kills, so many different ways to really make use of that, and then you add that with the special, which has so much more flair to it as well. It's fun. You really have on the side of Lakeside just a lot of weapons. Just that whole like comp is just really fluid. Has a lot of different roles. They're not really like overlapping with each other. It's really interesting kind of having like this dynamic where Ferndale is the three shooter comp, which you kind of see in Turf War,
Yeah.
especially at different levels. Maybe in Lakeside, three different roles pretty much here, and all kind of like balancing out for like different weaknesses, different strengths. So really cool. It's like I've mentioned this before, but like before we even get into the game, there's like so many different layers to what we've been seeing already. So I'm super excited just to eventually see how this ends up playing out because we can talk about this all we want, but it really comes down to when the players get to the sticks, and especially because like these players just came right out of school, like not even like I think like 30 minutes ago before this game started. So I'm curious to see with like limited warm up, limited practice, how did they end up playing out like in the actual game?
Yeah, for sure. I guess they're fresh out of the high school doors, fresh being
Right?
relative
Yeah.
speaking here, and they are ready to splat some foes as well. Turf War is definitely something that doesn't exactly, how do I say it, prioritize kills. Like this is not a
Mhm.
TDM situation where you need to eliminate your enemy to be able to win the game. No, the winner of Turf War is the one whoever gets the most color of their paint on the ground here. But hey, we're starting off here, game number one of the spring semester. Let's get into it, Spicy.
Yeah, immediately getting a chance to see. You look over at Ferndale, the blue, the Bravo, just immediately just getting so much paint coverage just for having those three shooters. Lakeside, with their opening a little more different here, just trying to see what they're going to be able to do. The roller actually rolling around as well, just to cover at the paint. You see there was a fight down here over on his left side. Looks like Ferndale did win that one there. The Expo ends up getting the one picked out. Suddenly, the danger is already up now against Lakeside.
Yeah, for sure. A Rainwater going down to pick off that roller is absolutely critical here. And now you already see how so much space is being taken here by Lakeside here as well. So there's going to be quite a bit of a scramble here to get as much paint down as possible. Trizuka is online, going in with the Reef Slider, but the Splash Shell comes in, and then the Reef Slider comes out, Spicy.
Oh, and that's crazy. And there was so many fights happening just off that. It is just Crosstalk here with the roller. Unfortunately, in enemy ink has to refill here. And watching for that suction bomb too, you are seeing that this shot is able to come out here. Rainwater is able to find that pick over onto Crosstalk, and suddenly, despite getting wiped out, they are able to still maintain this advantage state here in like almost the halfway point of the game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Splash Out comes out here. You get a little bit scary here, having Trizuka come out here as well. And unfortunately, it just does not seem like the picks are going out in the favor of Lakeside here, Spicy.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Ferndale doing such a great job with their offensive coverage. You have to watch for this True Slider eventually be able to be caught out as well, especially in such a tight corner here. It is going to be tough. It is going to find the splat onto Crosstalk, and such a great way for Ferndale, who is just really, they're all together pretty much, all coordinated at this point too, and it's been really difficult so far for Lakeside. They popped the flash down here from Nightfire, who was able to find the pick after the fact there as well. But now, with 1 minute left to go, gotta start finding some picks, gotta find anything just to even out the map.
Yeah, for sure. It is now or never. So if there is one unfired turf war that matters, it's going to be the last minute here. And we're starting off strong with a splash shot coming out from this end parries. Using those dodge rolls we were talking about earlier to be able to beautifully get out of that situation and get help from your teammate there as well. And now it seems to be an even game here. Anyone's game here, Spicy. Just got to get that turf coverage.
Now, 35 seconds left to go. This 1v1's important as Grillbees does take out that player there, able to get something in, and this Reef Slayer coming in, that's a bit late, but they are able to find the wipe. Ferndale here, now with a lot of room just to get some extra paint in the last 20.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of room here. There's so much paint on the ground. It's going to be very difficult for Lakeside to be able to contest this as well. Splash Out comes out. Reef Slider comes out here. It is a desperation to get as much paint down on the ground. Escaping this roller, but the roller catches you out. The Reef Slider comes out to get more, but no, it's not going to be enough here, AC. I believe this map is covered in so much blue that it has to go to game one to Ferndale.
Yeah, Ferndale with the big 27% win here. They were looking dominant for the majority of that game. I do want to give credit to Lakeside, especially right around that 1 minute to go mark. They really brought it back, and despite being in the danger for pretty much the entirety of that game, were able to fight their way and make it pretty neutral instance until critical 1v1s there, critical team fighting from the side of Ferndale was able to end up getting them the advantage, which led to that final daggers and the win.
Yeah, for sure. Just those last fights in Turf War really do matter because respawn times are absolutely devastating in this game right here. You're gonna be taken out of the fight for nearly 8 to 10 seconds in total, and then having to launch out of your coffee pot or jump up to a teammate as well. So that's so much time just gone with your presence on the map. Meanwhile, in those 10 seconds, so much can change. Players can just turf around the map. They can get more picks. They can take advantage of the fact that you, how do I say it? You have just generally less manpower to defend yourself and just collapse in on you as well. We also saw those special trades going back to back to back. I like how there was a dynamic. Every time a Reef Slider was popped or just something was popped, it felt like it had a response to another special of its own. And that's what makes Splatoon so interesting. It's a trade for trade, an eye for an eye. It's all scrambling here for an advantage. And that's what makes me love watching and commentating this game here, Spicy.
No, I feel the same way there, Neptune, where there's so much action that happens all the time. It can feel overwhelming if you don't understand the game. But when you get that game knowledge, like everything starts to make sense. Like special after special, like you see the coverage pretty much there of like, okay, the Reslider is going to come through, splash out in response, but then you have the opportunity to cancel out pretty much this special that was already meant to act as a cancel. It's a lot of different like call and response opportunities here, which makes things really interesting. We are now waiting to see what the counterpick map here for Lakeside will be. We are going into Rainmaker as the predetermined mode, but now, especially looking at what comps they were bringing, I'm curious to see which map they end up picking here for Rainmaker.
Yeah, that's a good question here because you have to choose from a limited map pool. You can't just pick any of the map
Mhm.
modes. You have to choose from, I believe, one of the six right here. And we have your traditional ones that I commonly see, which is Scorch, Scourge, and Undertow and Humpback here. But some less common ones I've seen here, I believe, are Manta Maria, Crableg, and Sturgeon are on the table as well. So, um, this could go a lot of different ways because when you're in the control of the driver's seat here for your counter pick, you're trying to think about, hey, what favors us and does not favor them, and essentially, right? You're trying to skew the odds so you can have the biggest advantage and best chances of winning the game and evening out the set here. And that's what makes the counter pick phase very tricky because there's a lot on the table to consider, and especially if you're unfamiliar with some of the players and they might have some secret pocket weapons or some tricks up their sleeves that they'll pull out for certain map modes.
Definitely, yeah. Because like if you're deciding Lakeside, like I'm thinking back, they had the X12. They definitely want maybe a map with some more verticality, maps with the
Mm-hmm.
grates, just because the shot will go through those holes there. But you also have to consider that Ferndale might be swapping out their comp entirely going into this next mode. Like maybe that was just a turf war specific thing where they had the two arrow sprays as well as the hero shot to balance it out. So a lot of things to really consider here, and as they make a pretty substantial decision here. It looks like we are going to Manta Maria
Ooh,
for our
okay.
remake pick.
Yeah, Manta Maria here. I think this is in favor for the roller, actually, right? Because
I can
actually,
see
knowing
that.
this, yeah, I can see because roller, I feel like, is one of those things that really benefits from, how to say, close quarters situations. And I feel like Manta Maria's mid is not, how do I say, it's not, it's very close quarters at times from the situations where you're fighting one player and then going to the taking another spot on the map here. It's very CQC, all up in your face. But also, say at the same time, you mentioned how the Expo loves grates. It loves hitting over walls, likes using, how do I say, the map's geometry to its advantage, the
Mhm.
terrain. And I feel like this is also a pretty good Expo. So yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense if you recognize some of the weapons that Lakeside is running and how they're going to play around it here. Couple that with the double splashdown to instantly pop the Rainmaker
Oh
shield.
yeah,
Yeah, that can snowball very, very quickly, especially if some members get caught out in that explosion.
for sure. Yeah, and I'm thinking about as a counterpick towards Ferndale as well.
Mhm.
Manta Maria's like geometry itself kind of forces them off the aerospray in a way as well, just because like
Yes.
Fizzy Bomb doesn't exactly get as much value with how much verticality there is. Reef Slider, especially, is going
Hmm.
to struggle a lot more than it did on Robo Ramen. So you saw what the Hero Shot was able to do, but now I'm wondering about these two Aerospray players. What are we going to be bringing out here? Because they're already up a game, so they have that kind of momentum. But this is, on all accounts, a really strong counter pick, really well thought out from the side of Lakeside.
Yeah, very well thought out indeed. I will say, as someone who does play Splatter Shot or the Hero Shot in this case, Trizuka is very difficult on this map because just a lot of the
Mm,
vertical terrain, right? It's very because typically when you're using Trizuka, you want to have some high ground or even ground with the targets that you are planning on using with your bazooka right there. But if it's going to be from low ground, which is where you're mostly fighting on this map right here, then your Trizuka is going to have very limited value. And it's going to be very difficult to hit shots as well. But hey, all these players are ready up spicy. They don't want to keep us waiting here. They want to get right into this. Game number 2, Rainmaker on Manta Maria. Take that fish to the checkpoints and knock it out.
Oh, these are some interesting weapon swaps. So we are seeing the same thing here
Oh,
from Ferndale, but look at this from Lakeside. Pretty much an entire weapon comp swap where the dualies are now just traditional Splatoon. Dynamo Roller has come through as well as the gold arrow spray.
yeah, for sure. Dynamo Roller recently got buffed as well as a very dangerous weapon if it gets to that tier. And Manta Maria is one of its strongest maps here. But hey, one of the powers of the Aerospray is its ability to turf. So it immediately gets a special and just runs it all the way down, giving the first checkpoint here to Ferndale.
Now that was beautiful play from the side of Ferndale. Taking, like I said, like Restarter might not be as good. They find the perfect opening and then get the double. They find the triple as well, and that is now back-to-back wipes. Suddenly, Ferndale is on firing on all cylinders. We went for the 40. We're about to knock the game out, and what looked to be an amazing counterpick to the side of Lakeside, Ferndale denies that, and now we are on set point.
We are on set point indeed. A critical game for Ferndale here, getting him to set point, using the momentum from those first couple of picks right there, using special immediately after the Rainmaker pop to catch their opponents off guard, to snowball their advantage and knock out instantly. Wow, Spicy. You don't see that every day.
Right? Like I've seen it a couple of times where you will
Mm-hmm.
get like a Rainmaker push and you just go right side just to get the quick, easy points if you can make that jump. But they went left side, which is maybe a little longer, but traditionally safer. But to get two wipeouts basically back to back, we didn't even get a chance to really talk about how Rainmaker is played because the game just went by so fast. And like I knew like going into like everything after Splatoon 1. It was a matter of like how can we make Rainmaker like a slower game and all of that. But
Mm-hmm.
that was insane to see that Ferndale just like do all of that to go up a game and don't go to game two. Now they're going into game three, which will eventually be on Splat Zones on depending on the map.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to be going on to Splat Zones right here. We have another set of maps right here. A lot. We can go back to Robo Ramen, I believe, as well. So that's already one map we're familiar with. But hey, looking at some of these
Mm,
other options, they're very traditional Splat Zones picks. We have Barnacle and Dime,
definitely.
Hagglefish Market, Mahi Mahi Resort, Mako Mart, Umami Ruins, and Ship Shape Cargo Co. So we have quite a number of options these players can pick from here as well. So very much so. I feel like Splat Zones is one of the modes that really tests a lot of, how do I describe it? Your knowledge of Splatoon, because rather than focusing on the objective in theory, because how do I say it? You need to capture a part of the map and hold it in your paint to score points to be able to knock out. What matters is holding the parts that are in front of the zone instead. So it really tests map control and map knowledge, which is why I think it's a fan favorite here and commonly played at all levels of Splatoon, and no less a high school level here as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I love that you mentioned that it's about like controlling the area in front of the zone
Mhm.
because I feel like especially for like newer comp players, that's probably one of the biggest adjustments players make is like, okay,
Yes.
it's not like staying in the zone to protect it from within. You want to limit the space essentially. And we are going to Hagglefish for our zones pick
Ooh,
here.
okay.
Interesting options. And I'm thinking now from the side of Lakeside as well, where they've had like I guess like the more traditional like anchor weapons in a sense compared to like what Ferndale has, are actually able to make use of the glass and everything like that too. So that some opportunities as well, just to maybe make something happen here, because they are suddenly down to, they are looking down at that point where Ferndale just needs to win one more game to clinch this match in the first week.
Yeah, for sure. Your backs are against the wall, but hey, that's generally when the adrenaline gets starts to run into you as well. We do have. I like how you mentioned that little glass part on the top right of your spawn area that you're able to just perch yourself on, especially if the expo comes back. There's not much that's able to hit you there. Especially the shooters, right? Shooters don't have a
Oh
really
yeah.
good ways of doing area of effect damage or able to easily hit things that are above them unless they like really commit to it as well. Sure, there's other parts of their kits like their specials or their bombs that could be able to do it, but that's a lot more ink on the table and more of a commitment as well. And it comes
Hmm.
to a matter of fact of how do you deal with this triple shooter comp if it's going to be coming back here? And I think Lakeside is going to make those adjustments here as we get into game number 3 here. Splat Zones Hagglefish Market. Let's rock, Spicy.
Cross Dog with another weapon swap. Oh, big weapon
Oh,
swap here as well from Ferndale. So we're now seeing the Spatana Wiper here from the side of Lakeside, as well as Ferndale now rocking a Carbon Roller.
yeah, for sure. Carbon rollers can be one of the most deadliest weapons if it gets too close to you as well. So we're immediately going to come out swinging here. Killing out the Explo immediately is going to be absolutely crucial here. Now it's going to be another wipeout, another beat from Rainmaker, carrying it over to Splat Sounds. Already going to be scoring points here for Ferndale.
Yeah, and Ferndale immediately just need to get something going here. You see them making great use of the glass, really poking at anything here. Just take away the extra. They have the splashdown at the ready, and you're watching this interaction. The Carbon really can't do much here, at least up front. And now you're going to have Splashdown potentially as an option to help paint zone. They are able to neutralize it, but the Reef Slider comes back in to immediately clinch it back. Great special coverage, but you have the Splashdowns coming back in once again, getting the pick as well. It's a matter of seeing, can this duel get the zone back, or at least try to paint it? But Ferndale once again in control.
Yeah, for sure. The Dualies does manage to get that pick here, but hey, now it's going to go for a flank while the main members of Lakeside are going to be attacking in the front here. I love this Platana Wiper pick, being able to range out your opponents as well as come up close and personal. However, the Aerospray is still capping the zone, still ticking down points. They need to be able to cap the zone to be able to apply penalty as well as the members jump in fruitlessly. But hey, there we go, Spicy. The zone goes in control of Lakeside, but at what cost?
Yeah, that was an immediate pick and then immediate wipeout translation as Ferndale, they stared down a brief loss of the zone, and now they have this penalty that they have to work through, but the way they've been playing, it looks like they should be able to make their way out of it pretty quickly here as well. And you've seen just the ability of Carbon Roller now able to find these picks. Rainwater is doing a great job of being able to just navigate through all of this so far, and that is another wipeout to keep adding to the tally here.
Yeah, for sure. Another wipeout coming out here. Ferndale's looking to close this one out quickly here, having the Zipcaster online as well. The X-Blow is forced to drop, getting punished here by an Aerospray. They have so much paint control in front of the zone, as I was talking about earlier. It might be lights out as the zone gets held 3-2-1 game, set, match. 3-0 on the side of Ferndale here for the first week of spring.
Yeah, Ferndale has impressed really early on this season, and that the 3-0 is just the one way to put it here. But you've been looking at how they've gone about the 3-0s, and that was probably where the story is really told. They are so good at controlling objectives, pretty much, and that's pretty much what you've seen this entire time. And playing from an advantage state isn't exactly always the easiest thing to do, but you see what they're able to do. They saw it in Rainmaker, where they get the wipe, they get control of the Rainmaker, they get points. They do the same thing and just keep adding that to the offense. And in zones, they did that in spades. Like, I lost count how many times they were able to get wipeouts, and just to see that get that many times, it really impressed us so far.
Yeah, for sure. It's very impressive here. I think one thing Ferndale had in spades was just confidence. They were very confident with their weapons. Even though they're not designed for fighting, they could still get splats. They could still use their special. They could still use the aspects of their, their gameplay as individual players to be able to fight in situations that you wouldn't normally expect and come out on top, leading to those wipeouts, leading to those fast aggressive plays, leading to those snowballs, and leading to those knockouts right there as well. It's one of those things where you had the confidence, you have the skill, might as well show it off in week one and go 3-0.
For sure, yeah, and I really like from the side of Ferndale, they kind of just rocked with what they knew. They didn't like make too many adjustments weapon-wise there. They knew like, okay, the 2 Aerosprays, they provide that paint coverage, and then we have a third weapon then to kind of act as like the Slayer of sorts here, or to cover any extra things, whether it be Trizuka with a hero shot, or to go up close and personal there with the carb. Just able to play really well, just knowing that kind of comfort things and all that. And just great stuff for them so far in that first week.
Yeah, for sure. Impressive way to start it off here. But hey, you know what, Spicy? This is just week one. You have a full league ahead of you right here. Just one set is not going to change too much in all the terms. Sure, obviously you want to take the first set home and be able to start your season off here, but that doesn't mean Lakeside is out and about. This is an opportunity to potentially look at these replays, look at these matches, and use it as an opportunity to grow and be more competitive here as well. So yeah, this is a mountain to climb, just not all at once, but paced properly, if that makes any sense.
Definitely that for sure. Lakeside has a lot of time to make some adjustments there and maybe make a run later in this season. But before we cut off, head out for tonight, do want to give a shout out to Landfest, because this broadcast is part of Landfest's Scholastic Esports program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, Landfest has delivered over 300 broadcast Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the league, schools, and teams we cover, and your generous donations make this all possible. So every $200 raised covers the operating costs for one regular season broadcast, and if you appreciate the work, scan the QR code that you see on screen and donate today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, and Fest, for sponsoring today's cast here. And thank you as well to Zotic as well. We gave him a shout out here earlier, powering so much of the stream. They're PCs and their how do I say it, their equipment in general would not are basically the reasons why this cast can happen in the first place, and we can watch these players here from Washington State duke it out here in Scholastic Esports. Spicy, it brings a tear to my eye how all this comes together. It's very beautiful.
It really does. And that will wrap up the coverage for with the Splatoon 3 today. Before we head out, Neptune, is there anything you want to say to the great people watching this stream?
I love you all. Thank you for tuning in so much. But if you want to find me somewhere else outside of the WSSEA space, at Neptune _ on Twitter or at Neptune TV on Blue Sky, as I'm quite active in the Splatoon scene, and especially the collegiate side. I help cast those matches as well. But Spicy, I feel like you have some words of wisdom to share at the end as well.
You can see me on different socials at 2SpicyPM or 2SpicyMK, being involved in pretty much anything with the Nintendo esports scene. So feel free to give me a follow if you wish. But that will wrap up the coverage for Splatoon 3 here at WSSEA for week 1. Later this week, we've got Overwatch and Smash Ultimate. But if you want to be here for Splatoon, we will be back here next week. So feel free to tune in for all of the great action here with WSSEA Esports. We will see you guys again next time.
See ya.